Greetings from the heart of Jamaica. My name is Mrs. Dilberry, and you're now tuned in to the Jamnija show here on Merge FM, where we look at Jamaican culture, Nigerian culture, and how we mix the two together to form a bridge for both nations. Today's topic will be churches and money. How are they handled? How do they relate to one another in both culture? Find out all of that and more today here on Merge FM at Jamnija Show. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes for some music to play. 3 minutes and then after 3 minutes will come.
Even if it didn't know what music playing.
Oh, you'll be able to hear it from your end, right? Hey, lovely people. Now that we're back from that music break, we are going to get into our topic. This one is quite interesting. Unfortunately, we do not have our original host, Mr. Opono, today. So it's just Mrs. Strawberry's voice. Don't be sad that you're not hearing the little Nigerian accent in the background. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. We're still going to dive into it. We're still going to get into the meat of the matter. So, for starters, a church is, a group of persons who come together to worship Christ. So churches are the traditional buildings for Christian worshippers. Those, whether you go to church on a Sunday, go to church on a Sabbath. Church is usually a big part of Jamaican and Nigerian culture. Particularly in Nigeria, though, churches mainly worship on a Sunday. Um, our host would have shared this information prior to not being here, that in Nigeria a Sabbath church is unheard of. So his shock when he came to Jamaica and found out, hey, but people do go to church on Sabbaths. So on Saturday, which is the Sabbath of the Lord, of course. Anywho, Nigerian population would have it that for every 3.6 million persons, there is a church, which means that Nigeria boasts approximately 16,300 churches. Can you imagine? And Jamaica is like just a tenth of that, just a third of that, right? Jamaica is home to a little over 1,600 churches. Of different denominations. So when it comes to churches, Nigeria and Jamaica, we are definitely home to Christianity. Um, However, the split between Christianity and other religions in Jamaica is a bit different from the split in Nigeria. For example, um, from previous episode, we would have discussed that in Nigeria, the northern hemisphere is Nigeria would have the northern hemisphere of their brethren being Muslims, and then the southern borders, southern eastern region thereabouts would be predominantly Christian society, and of course they have their tribes, and the tribes have the different practices, beliefs, all of that jazz. Now in Jamaica, you have approximately 60 to 75% of persons identifying as Christians, and roughly 15% identifying as Rastafarians, and then the other percentages will be broken up into Buddhists, into Judaism, into Muslims, of course. So yeah, so we're covering our bases here. We're just trying to get before we go to the money part, we need to know a little bit about how religion takes its course here in Jamaica and of course in Nigeria, because it wouldn't be the Jamnija show here on Virgin FM if we weren't going to be looking at the Nigerian perspective in comparison to the Jamaican perspective. Moving along, so we've covered, you know, the division of religion, and we've covered the number of churches. Um, Let us get into now, what is the purpose of a church. So usually a church is a place where people gather together. It's a huge part of one's upbringing. Last week we did a beautiful episode covering upbringing, and the question of last week was, what would you like for your child to learn in their earlier part of upbringing? And of course, having a relationship with God was discussed. That was one of the things that was brought up. So, of course, naturally, um, Nigerian and Jamaican society see church as an important part of life. Culture is a way of life, and church is a way of life for many Jamaicans, many Nigerians. Mm, yes. So, with that being said, there are many persons who on a Monday they are drunk as a on a Tuesday. They are cursing out their neighbor. On a Wednesday they might be embezzling some money. On a Thursday they might be lusting at somebody else's burger in the KFC line. Somebody else is gonna catch them eye, On which day we reach anyway. And then by the time weekend comes, they iron out the clothes to go to church on a Saturday or on a Sunday. And this is the time where I'm gonna get my Jesus on. I'm gonna go there and say hallelujah. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna say praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. And we see it in not just Jamaican society, but we see it also in Nigerian society. I've watched countless movies where there are pastors who impregnate their church sisters, and it's not just movies. It happens in both the Jamaican society and it happens in the Nigerian society. It is unfortunate and heartbreaking the amount of times we've seen the news and heard Pastor so and so has done this, has done that. Sometimes it's money laundering. Sometimes it is paying off somebody to cover certain sins. But on that note, um, I think it's time to take a nosedive into how to run a church and what it takes to run a church run. So, for starters, it takes cash to care. Anything that you would want to get done within the Nigerian or the Jamaican society, anywhere in the world for that matter, you need money. You need money to get musical instruments and equipment, right? You need money to get food for visitors. You need money to make sure that the water rate and the electricity bill are paid so that the mics and the lights are not shutting off mid service. So it does take money to run churches. But it's really sad when the churches will take this money, the money which is the tithes and the offerings that come in, which by the way are considered donations. So hence why churches do not pay taxes here in Jamaica. Not exactly sure if our Nigerian brothers and sisters can tell us if their churches pay taxes. Well, I believe that is right across the board. That churches do not pay property taxes because they're considered organizations for charity, and especially when they do charity work. But where does all of that money go? I recently saw some news resurface on Instagram where a popular pastor named Joel Osteen, this news was from 2021, but the video was going viral and resurfacing due to the fact that there was some disagreements within the family about how the church was being run in Lakewood, and as well as some checks and some monies were missing, and later uncovered by a plumber who was apparently fixing something in the church, tiles and the walls need to be fixed, and bam! Money falls right out the walls. Money is under the tiles. Money is just pouring out of thin air. And I know for a fact that we haven't uncovered too many big news like big news like that. Too much, too much. You see, sometimes when you're used to speaking patois, the English side of your brain just decides it. So it's too much. You know what? However, it said, my people, just listen up. Money was pouring out of everywhere, and we have not yet uncovered such big news in Jamaica about pastors mishandling money, about money that was once reported stolen now being found. But what we see here on social media is persons in congregations calling in to say they are disappointed with how pastors are treating small offerings. We have the infamous we have the infamous case of a pastor here in Jamaica who went viral for telling a man to take his offering out of the plate and go buy a patty with it. We have seen where there is this thing called rally that a lot of churches love it. They love to run off rallies, and you have preachers who say, "Don't bring less than $5,000. Come up here." You understand? You have persons saying, if it's not $10,000, you're limiting God, and we don't put a limit on Jesus. Okay? We don't put a limit. We don't put a limit. Hey, hey. Yes, this is what the church is being looked at as now. The church was once a place where persons could come in, where they could connect with God, and they could experience some sense of fulfillment through their spiritual growth, through learning, Bible principles such as kindness, gentleness, meekness. And now it's a case where these blessings don't seem to be on the platter anymore. It seems to be a platter going around for you to bless the pastor so that you can be blessed by his God. And it's really sad. It's really unfortunate that that is where we are. But it is what it is, and we just have to learn that time is coming. Time is winding down. And there are so many persons out there who realize that if I set up a church today, I can make millions tomorrow. Even if it is to squeeze this very poor that Jesus Christ in scripture would have said to remember. Lead them dry. That is the culture that we're seeing in both Nigeria and in Jamaica. And it's really sad that this is another bridge that we walk on as the Jamnija crew. But it is reality, and here on Merge FM, we cover real situations, real topics, real life. Yeah. So, our question for today is going to be, what are the monies for that go into the churches? How should they be used? If you're interested in answering that question, you can call us at 876-325-3615, or you can email us at moveupradiojamaica@gmail.com. Anywho, let us continue. So we covered the purpose of the church to find spiritual growth and, you know, fulfillment. And we also covered the fact that churches do indeed need money to run charity organizations in order to keep certain bills covered, in order to make sure that, the people are fine. But with the recent, emergence of, a lot of churches who are not handling money well, or who are demanding certain things of their people, we genuinely would like to know your feedback. So, what you think the church should be doing with money? What's the purpose of money in the churches? So, for today, we will be taking a break, giving you just a few minutes to relax to think about what we said, and we'll be right back. Enjoy the song. Hey YouTube fam, we're really sorry for muting, but whenever we mute, we're taking a break from the regular radio. So that's usually our time to walk around, get refreshed, and recharge for the next segment. So in the future, we'll be uploading like the cut versions so that whenever you guys are coming on, if you're catching like an episode at a later time, you can just, instead of come on the previous live, we would just go on whatever we edit. Coming to you guys soon here on Bliss BTV. But until then, please bear with me. And maybe some music that is royalty free so that YouTube won't flag us because but yeah, I'm sorry, but the radio audience is getting music and you guys aren't getting any, and I just wanted you to know why you're not getting any. Yeah, back to my break because I need to drink some water because it's gonna be a very long conversation. But I just want you guys to stay tuned because this one is quite interesting. I enjoyed doing the research. If I trip up on my words, just bear with me. Testing one, two. Oh, I don't even know if you guys could have heard me when I was explaining to you why y'all are getting into musical entertainment today. Because we just resumed. Turn, I literally just turned the microphone back on. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know how this sounds to you, but I hope that it sounds melodious to your ears. Anyway, I'm going to be going back from my break here a little bit. We can. Welcome back to Jamnija show here on Merge FM, where we look at a bridge between the Nigerian and Jamaican culture. As it stands, our topic for today is churches and money. Okay, so our question that we posed before the break was, what does it take to run a church, and what do you think churches should be doing with money? As per usual, you can call in at 876-325-3615, or you can email us at moveupradiojamaica@gmail.com if you're interested in answering questions or participating in one of our upcoming episodes. Now, as it stands, we will be getting back into our topic. So where we left off before was we were talking about, the number of churches in Nigeria versus Jamaica. We were also looking into, what it takes to run a church, the typical bills, charities, whatever. And we were also looking at some unfortunate news of how Jamaican pastors have reacted on social media, in terms of videos that have gone viral with pastors telling persons to put their offerings back into their purses because it was too small. And instead of bringing that to instead of bringing that to the altar, they were instructed to ensure that they go and buy patties with that money. Now, if anybody don't know what patties are, well, I might ask if anybody know what patties are. Anyway, patties are one of the staple foods that's associated with the Caribbean and particularly Jamaican food. It's one of the most popular Jamaican foods. Like, if you've never had a patty in your life, are you Jamaican or are you even alive? Back to the topic because we don't want to stray. We don't want to stray. We don't want to stray. We would love to hear your thoughts on what it takes to run a church and how churches should be handling money. Again, you can call us at 876-325-3615 here at Merge FM to respond to our question, what does it take to run a church? and how churches should be handling. All right, so it seems like we'll be having our first caller for the day. Let us pray for a good conversation. Morning. Which side of the world are you from, sir? It's no morning. Which side of the world will you be calling from, sir? You're calling from Kingston, Jamaica. Wow. Welcome to Merge FM. Welcome to the Jamnija show here on Merge FM. I am Mrs. Dilberry, and your name is Marshall. As in like fire marshal them or the fighting hiya ching ching type of vibe. Oh, okay, okay. At least I love that one. At least all of them. So, Mr. Marshall, how does it feel to be a Jamaican? Great. If you woke up and you were not Jamaican, how would you handle that? Miserable. If you woke up and you were in Nigeria, would you be miserable, or you think you could live with that one? Okay. So, alrighty. So our topic for today's show, as it stands, is Jamaican churches. Well, churches rather. It's the Jamaican in me wants to Jamaicanize everything. It's actually churches and money. How should churches be handling money, and what does it take to run a church?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay, no issue. Okay, okay. Could you repeat that one? You believe that churches should be invested. Okay. First time I've heard that one. Uh, Fair point. Well said. Well said. Yes. What does it take to run a church? Okay. A follow-up question here. So, as we were discussing before the break, before you came on, so I don't know if you were listening or tuning to the. Hold on 1 second there. We will take a short break and then we'll resume our question. Let me put the call back on Bluetooth. Mr. Marshall? Hello? Oh, Mr. Marshall, are you hearing me? Testing. We are back. Lovely people. You're now tuned in to Merge FM here in the beautiful island of Jamaica. We were experiencing a little teensy technical difficulty, but we have ironed it out and we are back. Remember that if you are interested in participating in today or any future episodes, you can contact us at 876-325-3615 or email us at moveupradiojamaica@gmail.com. Anywho, back into the topic, churches and money. What does it take to run a church? And how should churches be handling money? Now, before the break, our caller, Mr. Marshall, was explaining to us that he believes that it takes cash to care. He also reiterated the fact that churches do indeed need money to take care of its people. Of course, the bills, as we were discussing in the break before the break before the break. Yeah, yes, people. So, the point where we left off was where Mr. Marshall was explaining to us his belief that how churches should handle money is they should be investing. So, Mr. Marshall, could we go over that? Could we reiterate why it is important for churches to invest money? Okay.
However, the collection of cash is one, but how the cash is being stored is a bit another thing. I was saying that you cannot collect $10 and spend the $10 and you have $0 and you will do no growth. Just like how the story is growing, just like how the lifestyle is growing more deeper, it's the same way where you'll be more conscious. And the $10 you can, and then after a while you start to spend the interest there while still having the same $10. That's what you invest in the first place. So that would take care of some of the aspect of it. And we all know that cash is, I guess, part of the rich aspect of church. Church is more of a hospital, it's more of a way station for the needy, for the sick, for the person who want prayer, for the person who want to find themselves. Church is more about a rebirth. It's about a new me, a new you. So, all of that, with all of that being said, after you find Christ, after you find all of that, then you need to grow. And in order to grow, you have balance where cash is concerned, where the spirit is concerned, where the cash is concerned. But I just want to be shogun, want to know how to spend and support. Not just be able to spend, I want to manage. And I guess that's like it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for your amazing response. Now, Before you go, before you leave the Jamnija show, uh, have you ever had any experiences with a church telling you how much offering is supposed to be coming in terms of there was a viral video sometime last year here in Jamaica. There was a pastor who had called back a member of his congregation who apparently had put a sum of money in the offering plate or basket, and it was not pleasing in his sight because of the value of the money. So, for example, it was less than $5,000. So, apparently, the pastor had taken the money out of the plate or basket and given it back to the congregant and told him to buy a patty. Sorry. This is hilarious to me and sad at the same time, but it's yeah. Um, told him to buy a patty. Now, what is your take on such thing?
So the Bible speaks of a tenth of what it really was, and you give back that price, you give back that for, and that was from the olden times for the less fortunate, the indigent, the wives, the widows, should say the widows, and so forth. That was used to help because in the olden times people used to come to the temple for, I mean, they were supposed to really more at that time, but they would kill an animal and they give a tenth and they would to the church and so forth. Now, once you're giving back your tenth to Christ, then I guess that should be it. Now, if out of your kindness of your heart, you want to sow a seed and so on and so forth, then that's okay. But we as pastor would dictate what you give over, um, and I would say um, differently from the 110, then I don't do it as a
Could you
and
repeat
again,
that? You don't think it is biblical for a pastor
no,
to be telling their
I
congregant how
don't,
much money should be coming in?
no, I don't believe in the Bible as a biblical where, I mean, where anywhere where people dictated that we should, the only dictation is what is in 10%. That's the only thing that I know.
Thank you for that reiteration. You heard it out of your fellow Jamaican from Kingston's mouth. That's number one. His response to the question, what does it take to run a church and how should money be handled by the church? His number one response was the fact that churches should be investing money so that it can take care of its affairs and its people. Secondly, our question now posed here, not the general question for our viewers who would love to tune in later on. What is your take on the viral video from last year, which saw a pastor telling a congregant to put his money back or to take the money and do something else with it because of the value of the money? It wasn't as, you know, bountiful as the other offerings. And his response is that that is not biblical. So you heard it here on Merge FM. It's not biblical. It's not biblical for somebody to be telling you how much should be brought in. It is a tenth of whatsoever that you have earned that his that has been dictated in the Bible that you should be bringing in, and nobody should be telling you what you should be bringing in. So for all of the churches who love this song, all who born on February, bring your money come. All who born on March, bring your money come. Sha la 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 la, lockdown rally la la la. all over. And in April, bring the money come. Apparently, that song is not supposed to be running because you're not supposed to be telling the people what to do with the money. Is Jesus that it takes. So, thank you again, Mr. Marshall, from all the way in Kingston, Jamaica, for enlightening us with your feedback to the question. It was lovely having you on today. So we're going to be closing out our calls. But if in the event you are feeling burdened by the question we posed earlier, what does it take to run a church and how churches should be handling money? We would appreciate your feedback. So you can go ahead and call in at 876-325-3615 or email us at moveupradioJamaica@gmail.com. Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for coming on today. Have a lovely afternoon. It's not morning, it's afternoon.
Maybe your number, because this more personal.
That's like
That's
usually when Jamaicans call in, they're and when it comes to money topics, you're thinking that they're going to say something along the lines of, "Oh, maybe should I stop this one?" Until
you should keep on. Yes. No, yeah, you stop it. Stop it. Not now, but later.
yeah, usually when Jamaicans are talking about how church is doing money, everybody up in their feelings. Church don't forget no money, and I've seen it. Ye- I've seen it on all of my social media where like because and I think it some of the churches, yes, it's because of the wrong intentions that people have. Why some persons will now begin to say, don't give your money into the church because they're going to use it for foolishness. I've heard of pastors who are funding private jets. I've heard of pastors who are paying for they're paying off people who they have hurt or people who know things about them. So then now you have these things as reasons why persons who want to say stuff like they don't believe that you should be bringing your money into church, and then there are persons who bring it out of fear that God is going to strike them down dead.
Mhm.
And it's not because they
Accident number,
genuinely
yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not because they want to genuinely give into the Lord. Hey there, lovely folks. We are back from our little music break. Thank you for tuning into Merge FM. We're located here at Goodmere Road in Macon, Florida. So, our topic for today here on the Jamnija show has been churches and money. What does it take to run a church, in your opinion, in your humble Jamaican or Nigerian opinion, depending on where you're listening from? And how do you think churches should be handling money? Our previous caller had mentioned investment. He had also mentioned the fact that pastors should be telling congregants how much money they should be bringing in because your honest tithe is a tenth of whatever God has prospered you. Now, we have um, pastors who are you know, practicing a different type of song. So we want to hear your feedback. We are aware that not many people in Jamaica have credit these days because everybody's on the Wi-Fi and the data planning, right? So if you are one of them people there where one call in, but you're not a credit, not to worry. We are available on WhatsApp. So our WhatsApp number is 876-215-4005. Or as usual, you can email us at moveupradiojamaica@gmail.com. So back to the topic. Let us know what you think churches should be doing with money, and let us know what you think about how churches should be run. What does it take to run a church? Mhm. So we're gonna go back into some music. And those of you who are on YouTube, I implore you guys, please message in the chat section. We can see your messages. Yes, you people on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in here at Merge FM and Bless Me TV. We would like to hear your feedback. So we are able to see your chat. Don't think that we're just catering for the people that are on the radio who are actually calling in to give their feedback. We want to hear what you guys have to say. So be sure to type in the chat box right there, so or right there, depending on where you're from. Yeah, go ahead, type in the chat box what you think. Our question is churches, how should churches be run? What does it take to run a church? As well as, yeah. So, what does it take to run a church, you people on YouTube? And also, what do you think churches should be doing with money? How do you think churches should be handling money? You can type in the chat below and we will be reading your comments whenever you do so. You can type a whole paragraph if you need to get it off your chest. What do you think about this topic? Let us know. So now we're gonna get back to our break. Get back from our break rather here at the radio show. So our radio callers can actually now hear us in 3, 2. We are back and we are live. We're back and we are live here on Merge FM. And we have a caller for today. Who is this caller that we are having? Ah! Hello, good afternoon. So, our people on Merge FM and Bless Me TV, Do you know that voice?
I've had a lot about the program that was doing Love FM, and yeah, I've had a lot about the program in Jamnija, and I'm
Okay.
happy to participate in for the first time calling in, and today is the first time.
Miss
So how you doing?
Well, Mrs. Doberry is doing well. But Mr. Abwana, why are you not in the studio today?
Well, I'm actually calling from work. I'm calling from workshop.
Okay.
So
So you're not at work because you're at work. Understood. This is true Nigerian here. So, our topic for today is churches and money. And our question
mm,
for today is, what does it take to run a church and how should churches handle money? Our previous caller had
mm,
shared that their belief is that churches should invest money and churches should not be telling people how much to tithe. Tell us today, what do you think it takes to run a church, firstly?
well, based on what I know and what I think about the opportunities, I would have reason to establish a church. Some claim that they are called by God to have a pulpit with members as the church, while others, just because of the gain they gain from church, the offering and some other tithes and the gifts that they will get in the name of church. But what it takes for someone to truly have a church where there is Christ and where there is the Holy Spirit, it takes the Spirit of God and it takes persons who are anointed and persons who are called. Can you hear me?
We are hearing you here at Merge FM and on Plus BTV.
Hello.
We are hearing you.
Alright. Persons who are called by God and they are called pastors. They also it takes the anointing of Christ to have a church that's yours, not for business reasons. Some persons have selfish interest in establishing churches.
Okay. Tell us, what do you think
Mm-hmm.
some of those selfish interests are for establishing churches?
Well, their teaching is quite different. By the time you visit first churches, you find out that some of them are looking at who is the best dresser or someone who can dress very well, or some persons that they are just for social activities. As long as church is concerned, anything apart from Christ, mentioning that is just like a social organization.
Okay.
So some are there just to show off, while some are there genuinely keeping the faith of Christ. It's just some happening. Some persons have vowed never or not to visit church, or they try to worship at home. So based on what we hear about churches these days. But if you see a true Christian, a true believer, a true church, believing church, you will still know because Bible says that by their fruits we shall know them. Why some are just there just for the sake of getting uh, the things that keep church running in terms of the offering, in terms of upkeep of the pastor, of the members, and some use it just to create fame, to be known. Uh, so depending on what one believes. While some I call evangelists, they don't have church, but they reach out to people.
Okay.
Yes.
But aside from spirituality, aside from, spiritual growth and development, physically, physically, don't you think that churches need money to be run? No.
Yeah, churches need money to be around. Even Bible said I should not come to the house of empty. Alright? But some are going to strong out to say, I have something to be praying that they have administration that you will like the person will say, or the person that is organizing a learning program, they will hear some will say, I'm going by the Holy Spirit or I'm going by the Holy Spirit that they worship to call on someone who would give like $100,000 or who would give like 200,000 to come into the front of the altar to observe people using the name of God. Alright, even the Bible says that God's judgment will start from this church. He has reason for saying that because of this paradise. So sometimes we begin to have doubts. Some preach against tithing and not do without it. That's why I see in tithing, but you should thing or a teacher because they thing to brag in God or to have access to heaven. Even in the Bible, when Christ found out a rich man, he did not allow him to follow him. He just said, go and share what you have to the poor. Alright? The rich man found it very difficult to show because he knows what it means to be rich. Alright? So some persons, because of what they get or what they are getting, they will use it as an advert be to be under the umbrella of church to commit atrocity. This person gets something as and they will not have the just one or kind of umbrella thing, right? Um, this thing. What other pastors get honor, which is honorable, and hence the good word. So, but the best example really also happen to be so by the students say that we should look forward to inviting people who are truly called.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered the first portion of the question. Now, the second part of the questions is, how do you think churches should handle the money that they receive from their congregants?
One they should handle is just as it was done in the scripture, Judas Iscariot, Judas is the right? And you know what happened? Some persons don't handle money, they mismanage and they mishandle the managing some persons who are called Christians, they are pickpockets in the church, you have to say, so it should be handled with care and it should be handled or used for the things of God, like evangelism, uh, different crusade or whatever thing that has to do with evangelism, alright? And
Okay.
expansion. So that was before that Christ, the Bible says that we saw Christ walking here. So this time around, no one would like to, you can't travel overseas or far with camera usually. So you need time, you need money, I think that comes from the sense to fund. So it's not to be managed with care and it's also charity. You have to be managed with it should be handled by people who are kind of accountable, who are reliable, and personal who should be entrusted to anything that has to do with church funds. And anyone who is in that position for handling anything that has to do with church or sacred gifts or sacred things from God should be one who should be careful as well to know that this is sacred and this is truly
Mr. Ogono. Hold on. I think we lost you. We lost you a minute there. Can you back up just a little bit? Can you back up just a little bit? All right. So you say that we should be putting hearing you clearer now.
Alright, I'm saying that anything that has to do with church funds should be treated with care and not Judas of any time. Because you never have done it that you never expected what happened. So no one answered Judas this time around, but that's the Judas that they're in the house of God. So everyone should be careful about answering what has to do with church funds.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that, pastors of Jamaica and Nigeria? Please don't go giving Judas the bag with the money. But then again, who knows who is Judas? Can you just look at somebody and tell that they're Judas?
Well, yeah, by the fruit you shall know them by the way they do their faith and of course, you see some persons so they will do something so you cannot imagine that they want. Alright? They do not prosperity they are pickpocket in the handset. That is not it is not good at all. That is why they know to start from the church.
No.
Start from the church. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said I'm coming from the workshop. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, folks, you heard it. You heard it from Mr. Ogona. We should be careful how we handle the funds that come into the house of the Lord. Definitely being sure to ensure that it does not land in Judas Iscariot's hands or his purse or his care. So that tells me that churches, when handling money, need to be very careful who is in charge of the treasuries, who does the accounting. In fact, it is my personal belief that every church should have an accountant. Every church should have, you know, their their QuickBooks. I believe that everything that is spent in the church, for the church, on the church, everything that comes in and goes out should be accounted for. That's my belief. In as much as churches do not pay taxes here in Jamaica, don't know if it's the same. Is it the same in Nigeria? Do churches pay taxes in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's the same all over the world when it comes to church and religion.
Just confirming. Uh, yeah. So I believe that every church should have an accountant. Every church needs to keep track of what's coming in, what's coming out, because you want to be sure that whenever they do the different fundraisers, whenever they're doing charity events, they need to know what they're working with. They need to know if we need to raise funds this month or if we are going to take care of the widows and the sick and the shut-in based on what we have. No, our previous caller had mentioned investment. I believe no, I'm thinking about it now, and I do believe that with today's economy, churches should be investing the money that they receive, because it will be to the end that whatever work that you're doing will be continued. That's of course for the churches that are genuinely trying to make an impact, a positive impact that is on society. So, have you ever
I
had
also
the experience
okay.
of have you ever had the experience of a pastor or a church in Nigeria telling the congregation how much money they should be offering? If so, what was that experience like? Have you seen, have you heard? What was the experience?
Well, some Judean pastors they are experienced psychologists and they know how to handle and say some things, not directly on how much to offer in the name of offering. But you find some persons or some pastors saying, well, when I refer pastors, I'm just using the portfolio I have out there. Alright? So what I'm saying is that some church uh, members or church persons who anchor a section in one of the section offering time, you see some persons who will say, giving to some amount is not worthy of feeding. Alright? Whatever you give, whatever you sow is what you will reap. Alright? If you give thousands of things, you will get thousands of things. If you give these, you will get more than these. So they will work on your IQ and make you to feel that not being as trying to give more than you have a portion to give. So I think you're being in a feeling of fear or of compulsion there when you think some for out of the event of or ask to do. So they will ask them to borrow the money just to pay the vow or to remove whatever based on what the pastor has said at that time.
Exactly.
So some persons give for out of budget. Some persons will say, if you do not do this, give me to some amount, you will not receive equivalent blessing that you want God to do for you. But when you are giving thanksgiving, they say, must surely buy a car to come and so that to come and take it. So if we have to give pastor physical thing to measure the measure of their blessing. So just like the giving, I give out whatever you give, that's what that will come to you when it comes to giving. So that's how or what they use to do based on what I'm showing on the spirit. My son will bluntly say, this is what I'm bringing for. So, pastor, if you have any project I can make your child to the pay which is a little portion now, like a student I had for the one certain time, the minister of God was like, politician, I don't expect this from you. Even you are coming out to come out and say as the president of this country, how would you give such an amount to be expected to give millions, all right, in Nigeria, all right? Now, we are giving less than what we expected. And the minister and the politician said, well, this is not time for campaign, and he gives from his pocket. So he was trying to say that don't give government funds to church project for government to do in the church, not giving funds, giving cash. So that is how it is. So it was a trending news during the time. Alright, it happened actually it already Kalambaka last year. When you're saying that it's stingy, I think it's busy, it doesn't give out, it doesn't mismanage funds, it doesn't give out funds, it doesn't give out money to churches when it comes to giving out. So people were saying, well, that is giving based on what he wants to give at the moment.
Okay.
So if the demand is too high from the clergyman, that he rather try to show him a project or to give him anything in the name of him instead of giving us more part to the church. So it was a controversy at the time. So that was what made the man so popular. People started to like him, people started to love him because of that similar act. Because sometimes some politicians will give the freedom of them contesting for the Congress and contesting for the presidency. So they will do more than the objective. The people didn't do this as know that they can.
And I appreciate that response from him because according to Edinburgh University publications, there was a study conducted and it was found apparently that laundering money is usually done by politicians through mixing their assets with the church's assets in order to evade detection. So a lot of politicians, according to Nigerian publications, have had that practice. So he would have been the exception. He would have broken the mold,
Yes,
and there and then we see he would have been doing the right thing in spite of nobody
exactly.
watching or in
What
spite
I
of not
mean to
getting
say that
benefits from it.
what I mean to say that they give public fund to public use. Alright? Public fund is for that is government fund is for public people. Then the one that is coming from is coming from the public so it should be based on how or what you want to do, not by your expectation of the person. But at that time, that was what makes him people started to show you a lot of things in the table, and that caught people's attention.
Okay.
So, yeah, he put out he put into it, and people understand that he's a human. They never move by what people say or what the pastor say. Who happened to be his father in the Lord? So, the person that they saw was stand on their ground to say no to that. What might be the caliber of the first man at that time?
And that would have been a loss for the church, in my opinion, because on today's episode, for our background information, we were looking at the purpose of the church, and we were looking into the fact that it's supposed to be for spiritual growth and personal development. It's a place where usually you would be going with the intent to connect with Christ, the Creator, and you would have been trying to learn certain principles such as kindness, honesty, you know,
Yeah,
learning how to become a well-rounded person, because we can talk about finances, we can talk about physical health, but spiritual health and well-being. Also, church is a place where people usually develop a moral compass, trying to understand what is right, what is wrong. So now when we have clergymen coming out and doing stuff like that, we use this one as an example for Nigeria. We have been basing our other example for Jamaica. The pastor that had gone viral for telling the gentleman who approached the altar to take his offering back and buy patty, which is it's a Jamaican delicacy, because that money wasn't what he had told the congregation that he wanted to be fully in the basket. So thank you ever so much for tuning in, for responding. We really appreciate your take on the topic. churches and money, and we appreciate your response to the question, what does it take to run a church? And how should churches be handling money? Thank you ever so much for tuning in, sir. Sir, sir, who should be in the studio today but is at a workshop. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to end our call here. Anywho, for our viewers in Nigeria and here in Jamaica, it is approximately 4:41 p.m. Here on the Jamnija show on Merge FM, we close out at 5. So to wrap up the time, we're going to give you a little you on radio. You're gonna get a little music. You're gonna get a little playlist of some classics on Spotify. And you on YouTube, you're going to be entertained by the bloopers. Okay, so for those of you who are tuned in, you are on Merge FM, otherwise known as Move Up Radio Jamaica. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Now we're gonna grace your ears with some music. So you guys on YouTube, I am so sorry you can't get music. One day I will fix a playlist for you that will not get us flagged on YouTube. Yeah, I'm still not seeing any of you guys in the chat telling us like what your opinion on this topic is. You've heard our callers on the radio. So it's just for you guys on YouTube now to decide if you wanna skedaddle from here or if you want to answer the question. Our chat or live chat is literally empty. And I see two of y'all on here. What are you guys waiting for? Answer the question. Our broad topic for today is churches and money. And our question for today is, what does it take to run a church and how should churches be handling money? So the two of you that I see tuning in on YouTube, hey, hello, welcome to Bless Me TV. We are live here at Merge FM, well, Move Up Radio, Jamaica, live in Clarendon, Jamaica. You guys can go ahead wherever you're from. It's okay, don't be shy. Start typing and you can go ahead and give us your take. How should churches be handling money? What do you think it takes to run a church? Many a times we have these, you know, questions in our minds, and oh Lord, it look like the scared the two people them off. Anywho, we shall proceed. Okay, so as we were saying before, what do you think it takes to run a church? And how should churches handle money? We're looking at the live chat. The live chat is blank. You guys can go ahead and comment down below and we will respond or with whatever time we have left before we close out today's Jamnija show on the radio. we could read some of your comments. Yeah. So don't be shy, guys. Like, start typing. And if you feel shy today and you decide, say, maybe next week I'm not going to be so shy, then no problem. Tune in again next week, and whatever topic we're on, you can feel free to tune in and give us your feedback. We want to hear what you guys on this world have to say regarding the topic, churches and money. What does it take to run a church? And how do you how you think or what you think churches should be doing with money? Yeah. So since you guys don't have a playlist, I'm going to be hitting mute, taking my final break. Don't feel any way that you're not on the radio, you're not getting to hear the playlist that our radio audience is hearing. As I've shared before, one day we might be able to, figure out the music situation when it comes to YouTube. It's a very touchy feely, tricky type of thing. So don't feel any way. If you want to hear the music, you can tune in on both, but be sure to tune in here, um, so that you don't miss any of our Jamnija Show episodes, and hopefully better quality visuals will be coming your way as well. Yeah. So it's not just music that we're thinking of the visuals too. But bear with us. Bear with us. Bear with us. And now I mute because I need to go and drink some water. blessings from the heart of Jamaica. You have been with us from 3 this our little after 3. You guys were here with us from sometime this afternoon, and 5 p.m. is coming up shortly. And that is the time when we have to close our Jamnija show. But here we are going to I want you to subscribe to Move Up Radio Jamaica. I want you to email us at moveupRadioJamaica@gmail.com for any topics that you would like to hear covered here on Merge FM. I want you guys to head over to YouTube and I want you to find this BTV. Hit the subscribe button with the bell with the parentheses so that you do not miss any of our live updates or live episodes. Now, it has been a pleasure speaking to you on the topic churches and money and listening to the callers as well as share my own opinion on the question what does it take to run a church and how churches should be handling money. I have been your host for today, Mrs. Strawberry. Until next week, Thursday, same time, same place here at Reg FM. I would like to say take care of yourself, walk good, and as the saying, the Jamaican phrase goes, well, I don't want to say the other part because I know a lot of persons listening on Reg FM might be afraid of it. Yeah, but the phrase usually goes, "What good and good will follow you." I don't believe that. I don't endorse it, but it is a part of what Jamaican sayings. And here in Virgin Family at 3 to 5 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon like this, we cover Nigerian versus Jamaican topics, how things go on abroad and how things go on abroad with Nigerian brethren there. Take care and God